The Mac Mini is like the simplest dish you can get in a restaurant. Like a margherita. And yet after tasting this dish, I feel the need to congratulate the cook.
Who made this burger, dog?
Apple has just done something Apple rarely does. They've introduced a new generation of product and reduced its price. If you've been procrastinating on buying a Mac Mini, this might be the best time to stop and finally buy your new computer. But which one? The answer to this question is not at all as obvious as it might seem, so let me explain a little. The M1 Mac Mini is a phenomenal product. It's a truly capable machine that could be an entry into the Apple world for many, and it encourages this with its small size, Apple's exceptional M-series processor, and, surprisingly for Apple, a low price. This was the case for me. The decision to buy this computer I consider one of the best in the past year. This machine allowed me to work more efficiently, use more ambitious features, and get rid of all limitations for my creativity. So do I regret buying a model that, within a few months, was replaced by a new version with much more efficient hardware? Absolutely not. Even the M1 version fully meets my needs. If you too have a computer with an M1 processor and are wondering whether it is worth upgrading to the new version with the M2 chip, I believe you already know the answer to this question yourself. If your Mini has been performing well for you so far, why would you even bother selling it, ordering a new one and setting it up again? Well, on the other hand, if you feel that your unit is starting to choke when working on your tasks and daily work is becoming a torment that no longer gives you any satisfaction, then I understand your concerns. For these people, Apple has introduced a new variant of this entry-level product. A version with an M2 Pro processor, for those who really need more computing power, but still in a mini size. And this is where the fun begins. First, let's take a look at the graphs Apple shows us on the website. And can we just appreciate how Apple mastered visualizing stuff? And how the white line gets darker and darker, giving the unobtrusive optical illusion that it actually ends much earlier. Masterpiece. And don't let the almost 20 times faster video editing or 5 times faster Photoshop performance fool you either. These are comparisons of the best equipped new model to a 5-year-old version with an Intel Core i7 processor. Well, no wonder the difference is so huge. But it doesn't change the fact that Apple's new units are truly extremely capable and worth every penny at this price. So, which one is for you? Before, we just had the M1 Mac Mini, which was already much better than the Intel one. Now that's M2, but we've also now got the version with a Pro chip, still on the same tiny body. Well, actually not exactly the same, because the Pro version has 4 Thunderbolt ports instead of 2, which allows you to connect up to 3 external displays instead of 2. While the basic Mac Mini comes with 8 CPU cores, the M2 Pro version has 10 of them. And honestly, most people wouldn't notice any difference between them unless you know exactly what you're doing with those 2 cores. But it's the GPU where things get interesting, because the standard M2 has 10 GPU cores, while the Pro comes with 16 and can even be upgraded to 19 cores. So as you can see, this is mainly for people who need graphics. So straight away, if you do any kind of video editing, 3D rendering, lots of Photoshop stuff, and if that work is tied to income, I would suggest going for the M2 Pro. And here is actually where things get interesting, because if you upgrade the processor or start adding memory, then you discover that you're really close to the Mac Studio price point at $2,000. And if we look at its performance in graphics-heavy tasks, the M1 Max actually does a little better. And there are people who will tell you, okay, then wait 6 months or a year, there will be a new Mac Studio with M2 processor. But then the M3 will be just around the corner. So, are you gonna wait forever? Apple is a master at creating those loops where you only need to wait a little more, only need to pay a little more. So, break this loop. If you really need a PC now, buy it now. And go for the most basic option you can, because this is actually where you get the most performance per dollar. If you're only gonna use it for tasks that mostly use CPU, get a Mac Mini with an M2 processor. In most cases, the basic model is more capable than you think. And if you need a Mac for web browsing and studying, also stay with the cheapest option. And while we're at it, if you see a good discount on the M1 Mac Mini, say less than $500, it is still a very capable computer, and personally, I would definitely consider buying it. It will get updates for a very long time. So, which one is for you? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. See ya!